Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's highly anticipated webinar on the Shaping the Future of Projects, Why Now is the Time for a PhD. My name is Ihab Morgan. I'm a director at a Big Four consulting firm, and I'll be your moderator for this session. It's truly an honor to guide today's discussion that brings together academia, current PhD students, and professionals exploring this transformation journey. Today's session is organized by the Association of International Project Management Officers, AIPMO, and Alma Mater Europaea, which is a university that's paving the way in research-based project leadership. And the purpose of today's webinar is to explore the transformative role of doctoral education in project management. We aim to shed light on how a PhD can empower experienced professionals to lead with insight, apply research in practice, and shape the future of this discipline. So let me briefly walk you through the structure of today's session. We will begin with a keynote from Dr. Mladen. Then we move into two panel segments. The first one, we will have professors from the program share insights into the program. And on the second panel, we will be hearing experiences from current PhD candidates. We will then have a live audience Q&A, and finally, we will wrap with closing remarks and next steps. And with that, it's my pleasure now to welcome Dr. Mladen, a leading figure in project management with a distinguished academic and consulting career. He is a professor and head of the International Doctoral Study in Project Management at Alma Mater Europaea University in Slovenia, and a fellow of the IPMA and the European Academy of Sciences and Arts. Dr. Mladen has held prominent leadership roles, including president of IPMA, chair of its Council of Delegates, and president of the Croatian Association for Project Management. With over 25 years in academia and industry, Professor Mladen has delivered 80+ seminars, led 16 research projects, published over 200 papers, and consulted on more than 100 complex European projects. And today he shares with us his perspective on why now is the time for a PhD. Dr. Mladen, the mic is over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited being here and very happy to share my experience and my view about the topic, and hopefully it might be helpful to some of you. The point is that I can speak like practitioner and like academic, because all my career it's kind of mix of that, because I started like practitioner for 10 years and then switched to academic, but combining all the time after that both. And I would say that the best part of my career, I would repeat it 100 times if possible, if there is scenarios. But let me in 5 minutes to open the topic and saying why and what is the changing landscape of project and organization leadership. When we are observing from that perspective, we can quickly identify a couple of factors which influence today business, not only companies, but each individual position. It's firstly practification, like a process that more and more whatever is doing in business or company or society is going through projects, which is actually, in my perspective, continuous search for values to the change. Then we have also we are faced with expansion of complexity and speed when we are talking about value creation. Actually, it's something which we can call bigger, better, faster, and it's doing, and it's also going bigger, better, faster, bigger, better, faster, and bigger, better, faster, and that is the driving force today at the market, and it also goes for academy. Certainly, we also have a globalization trend. And the good point of that, from my perspective, is that community is recognized like one of the key stakeholders, at least at the projects and programs. And considering that environment, yes, we have a growing demand for research-informed professionals or trained or with that kind of degree. It basically go, and in my perspective, the fundamental reason for that is exactly that, force bigger, better, faster. What does it mean? Whatever you did yesterday, it will be challenged today. And those who are around you, they will claim for a bigger, better, faster, which means more. And you have to be actually prepared for that. It claims for a totally new paradigm for competence and ability, because the key word, it is indeed competence and ability. For example, if we are talking about leadership, years ago it was something for a top management. Today, we know that all levels of management, they are challenged with the different leadership. Also, the ability. It's not just showing ability, it's proving and delivering and creating value is actually very, very important. And that is basically the main driving forces for demand for research, let's say, capacity having also for professionals. And how can, for example, PhD actually help that? Well, I would say that when you are a practitioner, you actually proved your career, your capacity from one perspective, and you, at certain point of time, you will reach maximum. And after that maximum, you can improve, but little by little only when you get that. And it's also opportunity to do something totally different. And that's another perspective, because you might have a practitioner perspective and you might have a research perspective. And what does it mean in a practice? It means like you might have two glasses. With one glasses, you will see it one way. With another glasses, you may see the same thing in totally another way. That's exactly how I'm at the moment working. That's my experience working like a consultant. It's not just academic all the time. It's mostly to providing different view to something, to turn it totally around. And I can do it because of research. Because in my career, actually, there is a triangle. There is in the third point, which is lecturing. But it's fantastic when you put all together in one story. Then you can from one you can use to another, from another to the third one, and so and so. What I mean to say, it's difficult to be a good professor or researcher if you are not in the practice. That's my view. And it's also difficult to be extremely good researcher. That's my perspective, if you are not in the practice. So in my view, you need all three. And that altogether is something, I would say, like next level of competence. And this is exactly why and what we need at the moment, because of that environment. I described it initially. We have that bigger, better, faster, and we have so many challenges and constraints and well, let's say expectation of stakeholders. And I can put so many description about the environment we are working. Certainly, it's not like it used to be 10 or 20 years ago. And in the future, it will be, I would say, even more challenging. Therefore, I would say the combination of that perspectives like practitioner and research, and so it's very important. So research is not just only for university. We need more and more research-oriented people and people having research mindset in addition to practitioner, also in the practice. And that is exactly where Alma Mater fits in, because we actually we are, I would say, a network or community. And we are together because we believe. We believe that what I just described, that we need it, and we believe that we can do that. And actually we are doing that. in the way that each of our students who finished or is like lighthouse in certain environment, spreading that idea and supporting other and promoting. So this is actually our mission. And we are very much proud of that, and we are happy of that. So this story and what we are talking about, it's not about our positions, it's not about our benefits, I would say. It is the story of our beliefs. And we are very, very proud of doing that. And me personally, I'm very happy being part of that. So that was my very short introduction. Hopefully it was good enough for the next. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mladen, for the powerful insights and for sharing your perspective on why this is the time for a PhD. Very inspiring. So thank you so much. I think we can now begin our first panel segment with the faculty leaders who shape and guide this doctoral program. So let me briefly introduce our panelists. Panelist number one is Dr. Robert, who is a management consultant, professor, and founder of AI PMO. At Alma Mater Europaea University, he leads the PhD program in strategy, project leadership, and PMO management. With over 25 years of hi, I'm still continuing with the introduction.
Oh, sorry, it's a long one.
It's a long one, yes, yes. So with over 25 years of experience, Dr. Robert has delivered large-scale transformation programs and designed hundreds of PMOs, shaping the methodology behind AI PMO strategic lifecycle framework. He is a published author, peer reviewer for leading project management journals, and is currently co-authoring AI PMO's multi-volume body of knowledge. So welcome, Dr. Jocelyn, Dr. Robert. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today.
Thank you, Ihab.
Our second panelist is Dr. Reinhard. He's the Deputy Head of International Doctoral Study in Project Management at Alma Mater Europaea. He's also the Managing Director of TIWA Group Services GmbH in Munich, and a seasoned leader with over 35 years of experience across sectors like automotive engineering, consulting, and nonprofits. And he helps organizations become project-oriented and sustainably successful. Dr. Reinhard is a prolific author of 36 books and numerous articles. And he has also made significant contributions through over 2 decades of service to GPM and IPMA, including terms as president and chairman. He is an honorary fellow of IPMA and a senior lecturer at Alma Mater Europaea with a doctorate focused on the concept of project society. It's a pleasure to have you with us here, Dr. Reinhard.
Thank you, Ihab.
And of course, Dr. Mladen, whom we've just heard from, also joins us in this segment. Welcome, Dr. Mladen. So let me now start off with my first question, again to Dr. Mladen, if you don't mind. I think it's a very critical question for our audience. What really differentiates the Alma Mater Europaea's PhD program from others globally, in your perspective?
Well, I can describe it shortly for 2 and 3 perspectives. Firstly, if you are looking formally, we are a very narrow-focused doctoral program or PhD program, focusing only projects, programs, and portfolios. We are not, let's say, business landscape or something like that, and then there is option to go for a project. No. Our scope is just projects, program, and portfolio management. So this is different comparing to other. What does it mean? It means that we are focusing that temporary management structures, organizations, and forms, and so on, and everything what goes like that. And we are actually dealing with change. Because I would say the project is tool for doing change. We can say it like that. So this is our, and the second part is that we are we are doing our best not to be just ordinary university and faculty. We are community. So we know each other. We are twice per year. We are together. We are discussing. We are exchanging, and so on. So we are trying to act like a community with the main idea I already described, that we can do, and we are doing it, and we believe in that. So this is briefly, of course, there are some other differences in regarding the programs and so on. So, but I would say that those two like very interesting and primary.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mladen. And also, just quickly for our audience, if you have any questions, feel free to start adding them in the chat and we will address them later. And now I'll move on to the second question, and that's for you, Dr. Reinhardt. Could you briefly walk us through the high level program structure for basically for our interested audience to get a feel of what to expect if they decide to join?
Doctoral study program is divided into 3 years, and at the beginning, I think most of our applicants come from the practice need to learn about how does a scientific study work. So it's about also statistics, it's about scientific methods and research methods, qualitative, quantitative research, because we need to get into this world of scientific work. But you already start thinking of your topic, of your research idea, your research focus. And in the second year, you will do a deep dive. You will propose a certain research question and a research proposal, which you will follow up in your whole study. And this will be accompanied by doctoral workshops where you will present your ideas, where you will be challenged, where you will get support from your supervisors, but also your fellow students. So they all together help you to sharpen, to focus your idea of research. My idea in the study program was about projectification on the societal level, which was very interesting for me because I come from industry. So I worked all the ranks up from individual projects, organizational project setups, PMOs, to, let's say, the societal level, because we see now projects in all areas of society. So I had to think of a theory. So that's also a discussion that you will have in the second year. What is the theoretical foundation you are building your research on, which is very important, which adds a new perspective or maybe new classes to your views on project management. And finally, in the third year, you are doing your research and you are publishing also. And that's very important because through the publication process, you sharpen your arguments. You ask for feedback from supervisors, but also from journal editors, etc. So that helps you to move on with your research. And finally, you write your thesis, which is important as a document to put all the ideas together. So you see it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's more a marathon. But it helps you from your practitioner's perspective to work scientifically towards a scientific, unique contribution to the science.
Amazing. So it sounds like an exciting and also challenging journey.
Yes, it is.
So thanks for your insights, Dr. Reinhardt. So now we've touched on the on how the program is different from others globally, and also we've touched on the program structure. And now for you, Dr. Robert. So from your perspective, what defines a strong PhD candidate in this program? So in other words, what are you looking for in a student?
Mm-hmm. Good question. So I think I'll pick up on 2 points. I think one that wants to be a lighthouse at the end of the journey, and I guess the other one is enjoys marathons, 3 years plus. A strong candidate. I think many of you listening probably wonder what a candidate is. I myself never thought I'd do a PhD. I went through, I enjoyed business. I was often too busy to look at other things, but it's something where you ask questions. I always ask questions. So I think probably it's the same for yourselves. Many are asking questions, looking to find answers in the work environment, but struggle. Everybody's busy, but not looking to answer questions or maybe even do the right thing. So what's a strong candidate? One that's intellectually curious and reflexive, creative thinking that's really important. Also that you're able to work across different disciplines or different industries. So if I just refer to myself, that I like to ask questions, I like to understand it. It's like a puzzle. And I always enjoyed working across different industries, whether it's in manufacturing, in research, pharmaceuticals, banking, insurance. And I think what you're doing is actually putting things together. So maybe that's also a key term where you actually, what differentiates you from others is the capacity to bring integration, to bring all these different concepts, different perspectives. Mladen was talking about to actually sort of see through something unique that if you actually investigate it, potentially brings new relevance, new understanding to something that was maybe murky or obscure. People come from senior industries, so I think that's key, is that don't come straight from university, get experience, because then you can see things and how they're done, whether they make sense or not. So typically we have senior people that have 20 plus years experience. We also have younger people as well that's got 5-10 years experience. They see the experience as an asset that they bring. Others, when they come through, just want to investigate and inquire. It is tough. Dr. Reinhardt said about a marathon, you do need to be resilient, you need to be open. I know that when I started my research journey, it was like being a baby. I put a lot of my experience aside to understand how to do research, a bit like in a PMO, getting it set up properly. And then as you start, you're going to find a lot of ambiguity. And this is typically what project guys like, is ambiguity. There's risk, there's uncertainty. And that's the same thing with doing a PhD. You don't really know exactly, because you're researching, finding something original to produce then original contributions. So you need to be motivated. You need to have a good understanding of both the theory and the practice. And then as you sort of progress your PhD, and then you actually find the results, hopefully then you can actually shape and apply it in some sort of transformation, whether it's in an industry, within your organization. So a strong PhD candidate enjoys the marathon, looks forward to being a lighthouse to actually share the information at the end, and is curious, always questioning, always asking, but building and progressing on that journey. And it's not a linear journey, by the way. So that's what I would say takes a strong candidate, or is a strong candidate.
Thank you so much, Dr. Robert, for the, again, powerful insights. And I'm sure the current and the prospective candidates will benefit a lot from those insights. So thank you so much. Now back to Dr. Reinhardt. So this is an interesting question. How is the interdisciplinary thinking embedded in this program?
Can you repeat the first part of the question?
It's how is interdisciplinary thinking embedded in the program?
Yes, okay. In various ways. First, we have a broad pool of supervisors from very different directions. So from more the IT or digitalization perspective, we have people, professors that deal with sustainability. I myself am an engineer, so I bring the engineering perspective in here, but I'm also very curious in psychology and sociology, which is very important in the domain of project organizing. So that's one thing. The other thing is, depending on your PhD topic, that's often the question what theory you need to build on. There's a multitude of theories. It's kind of a zoo. And that's the key question you need to answer. Do I build my theory more on a social theory or an organizational theory, like in a PMO? There would be more obvious an organizational theory as a baseline. But if you are more in the social domain, is it more stakeholder theory, etc., etc.? And by exploring the theories which are available and reading the literature, I think you explore more and more this interdisciplinarity of project management. And that's what fascinates me, and since 40 years now. And I just yesterday had an evaluation to do for a PhD student who is doing explorations in the society of Egypt, comparing, let's say, micro business projects with the LCC's projects, mega projects in the country, and what is the motivation behind it, and how to make the future dreams come true. And he is building on various theories, and I found that so interesting. You never stop learning and exploring, and this is what Robert mentioned. I'm a curious type, and I think a good PhD student is curious. He always wants to answer certain questions and learn and learn and learn, and that brings you automatically in this multidisciplinarity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Reinhardt. I'm interested in knowing more about this topic you just mentioned about Egypt. So let's talk privately about that. Yeah. So I will conclude this first part of the segment, segment one, with the last question back again to Dr. Robert. How do you support professionals who return to academic thinking after years in the industry? I'm also personally interested in this question.
Yeah, it's a good question. In fact, I was in that category as well. So I took my PhD at 50 years old. I had more questions than answers. And say for me, actually doing my PhD, I actually left my job to do it full time because I enjoyed it so much. But I didn't have the support that Alma Mater actually offers in the PhD. So, as I say, a lot of candidates come with lots of experience, 20 years plus experience. They've got real world challenges. They often feel distant from academic theories, like academics on one side, practitioners on the other. But the reality is they come together very nicely, but you've got to understand how to go and do it. So in supporting that transition, we have intensive courses. They're actually sort of on a Friday to a Sunday. They look at different aspects of the writing. Reinhard talked about the qualitative, quantitative aspects, how to do thesis writing or publishing. We have coaching, in fact, in AI PMO with all the students. We actually have a WhatsApp group. In fact, there's an Alma Mater WhatsApp group as well that helps to answer the questions in the first year, and then you get formally assigned your supervisor, or you select your supervisor. For AI PMO focused students, they're looking at PMO management, so it's the domain of PMOs. You don't write standards or research on the entity, you write it on a domain like project, program, portfolio management. The way we support is that all our certifications that we have, the practitioner, the research, which are more focused at the manager and the director, they're all research-based. And often what we find is that people like the idea of doing research, but in fact, they know very little about PMOs or the latest thinking. So we offer these courses, they're discounted for all the students. So it takes weeks to get to a point of good understanding rather than actually doing it ad hoc in their own way. The other thing we do as well is actually offering a consulting frameworks course. This is something that because I was in one of the big consulting companies, management consulting companies, I developed a master's course for consulting frameworks. How do you actually frame a problem and then actually create a framework? And then from that point, it's like your North Star or your reference point to carry out doctoral research. It helps to actually simplify complex problems and show the relatedness of the different areas of which you then can build research frameworks and generate your findings based on both practice and theory. These frameworks are very good. So we support that in this course if people want to attend that. Also, I think this is what I really enjoy about Alma Mater, and it was actually mentioned as well, I think, by Mladen, is that the courses are not just held in one country or just virtually. You actually can go across different countries and also meet different universities. So the first one I was at was in Vienna, where we were with Professor Martina Hiriman and also a lady from the University of College London, where all the students got together. So it's not just Alma Mater PhD students, but other university students when we're doing workshops and reviewing all their research and providing advice. So you actually do get a network across 4 or 5 different countries, as well as, of course, your own network outside that to look at support in peer learning and peer support. So that really is a very big thing that enriches the program and generates new ideas. For the ones that are struggling with research topics, One of the key reasons we set up AI PMO was actually a research-based approach to PMOs, and we developed these frameworks, and each line in the framework is a PhD, and we have over 100 topics as well. So if the people are looking for a very important research to look at that they know is going to be applied rather than stay and waiting to be taken by somebody, is that we have these research topics that once you find your research will then be put into the materials for the members and for people interested to then apply in their PMOs. And that probably is one of the most satisfying things as well. So not only seeing the practical side when you start, going through the research and then coming back to help the others in the practitioner world benefit from the work you've done, which is very satisfying. All of these things I think will help to support professionals returning or thinking about going into the academic world.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Robert, for the compelling and convincing answer. I think I'm ready to sign up for this program now after I've heard you. So I think by that we've reached the end of segment one. Thank you so much, Doctors Mladen, Dr. Reinhard, and Dr. Robert, for those invaluable insights. I think you've painted a compelling picture of the program that's not only academically rigorous, but also deeply connected to today's professional needs. So thank you so much. Now, I think we're ready to hear from those who are living the experience day to day, our current PhD candidates. So let me briefly introduce them. So Nancy is a consultant, coach, and trainer with over 24 years of experience. She's the founder of Excellium Consulting, the first affiliate of the Shingu Institute of the Middle East. It is a consulting firm specializing in driving organizational transformation and business excellence. Nancy's extensive knowledge of organizational excellence frameworks, continuous improvement methodologies, and integrated management systems, particularly ISO standards, fuels her passion for enhancing systems, processes, and people practices. Welcome, Nancy, to the webinar. Our second panelist is Jasna. She's the CEO of INK Project, INK Project, which is part of Concar Group, which is a leading Croatian engineering company delivering projects worldwide. With a Master of Science in Project Management and more than 2 decades of experience, she has progressed from structural engineer to project manager and executive leader. She is currently pursuing a doctorate in project management in Alma Mater Europaea University with a research focus on strategic transformation in engineering-driven organizations. Welcome, Jasna. It's nice to have you here. Our third panelist is Mario, who holds a master's in project management and is currently pursuing a doctorate at Alma Mater Europaea University. With over 16 years of experience in international project management, he specializes in R&D, sustainability, and regional development projects. Mario has led strategic initiatives across Croatia and Western Balkans, serving as a project manager, PIU coordinator, and implementation specialist. Welcome, Mario.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Federico is a transformational leader, coach, and international speaker with over 20 years of experience guiding organizations and teams across industries and regions. He holds a DBA in organizational leadership, is certified in PMP, IPMA Level D, and Scrum Master, and is currently pursuing a doctorate at Alma Mater Europaea University. As the CEO and General Manager of GE 360, which is a global management consulting firm, Federico supports individuals and organizations in driving meaningful, lasting transformation. Federico is also an author, business advisor, and co-writer of the PMBOK 7th edition with a strong passion for leadership development and agile transformation. Welcome, Federico.
Thank you. Thank you.
So welcome our 4 panelists representing current PhD candidates. So now let's fire the first question, and this one to you, Mario. So for those who are listening, what challenges did you face transitioning into this PhD program?
Thank you, Ehab. It's nice to be here. We already heard about some challenges. The first challenge would be probably for us who are practitioners, who are consultants or project managers, sometimes complicated relationship between academic point of view and practitioner point of view. For at the beginning, as a practitioners, we are used to solving problems, and we are solving problems using some existing knowledge, previous experiences, something that we read in the books, and so. Research is quite different. So it's more about asking new questions, opening some new areas, and going into unknown. And that shift at the beginning of the story could be quite challenging, because you have to change the way of thinking, the way of solving problems, the way of asking questions. Over time, as a second-year student, I can say that something that was weakness maybe a few years ago, and now it seems like a strength or some kind of synergy, because our practical experience help us to see important problems that need some kind of research. And on the other hand, at the same time, learning to think like a researcher helps us sometimes, to step back, to look deeper into some topic, to try to rethink the options, not only using something that I already know, that I already implemented in some projects, but to find some new ideas and new perspectives. And that brings you some kind of, better or more wide perspective in something that you're doing. And the second challenge, well, to be honest, it's time management. I'm not particularly expert in time management, and my CV is quite pure with references in time management, but I can say that Alma Mater helps you a lot in finding some kind of, how can you fit your everyday job. Most of us are practitioners. We are working in companies, or we are CEOs in our companies, and sometimes it's hard, to pull it together with the academic point of view. But Alma Mater helps you a lot with that, because you have very accessible professors and mentors. We have a very active conversation with our mentors and professors all the time. Also, the way how the education is organized, we have online education, we have digital repositories with materials, with videos, and it makes quite easier way how to organize your time. And maybe just one advice at the end, considering time management. So actually, it's very important, to take the small bites, but it's also important to be persistent and to take those bites every day. It's not easy, but it's something that is quite important. What Robert mentioned, it's more like marathon and less like sprinting.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mario, for your answer. I think Nancy has a technical problem, so until she's back, this one for you, Jasna. So how has the program shaped your view of project leadership in general?
Well, it definitely changed the way I see the leadership and the project leadership itself. Well, so I was for a long time focused on delivering projects in engineering surrounding. It has always been on time, on budget, and on execution. And through this journey, I kind of changed the way I see the leadership, since I don't see it so much as a control, but I see it now more as something deeper, something that needs a purpose and enable participation of other participants in the project, and it needs to embrace adaptability. So I think it has shaped and changed my view, and I think a lot of people that I work with has also beginning to notice this change, and I'm only on the first year.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jasna. Federico, so this is not a trap or a tricky question, but how would you describe the faculty and peer support in this program?
Well, I think it's certainly probably the most relevant thing. I think from the program. I mean, the peer support that I'm certain. My story is a bit funny because this I was supposed to start, and I think it was the second cohort, right, in Dr. Mladen, but for several reasons, I ended up being here in the cohort that I am, which is perfect because it's exactly where I'm supposed to be. And without the peer support of those two ladies that are right there, I'm completely certain that I wouldn't be able to cope with different things that I do on a daily basis. I mean, both Reinhard and Robert were mentioning the level of commitment and time you need to invest in this. So it's really important, and as well for the support from faculty in terms of providing feedback, advice, and different things, and helping you. It's like think a bit differently. I remember we were in a class with Reinhard, and he told me once, and I was presenting and said, "You're a consultant. You are a consultant, right?" And then he said, "Well, now it is time for you to ask questions." So it is a bit related to what Mario was mentioning. So I think it's that those things are really important if you for a program like this, and for a person that's looking to actually achieve and get to the end line of a PhD, to have the proper support of peers and from faculty as well. So I think it's I mean, to me, that's actually like the highlight of the program as well. Mm-hmm.
That's a very good answer, Federico, and I think you answered the correct answer. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I think Nancy's back. So Nancy, if you can hear us, I think you've fixed the technical issue. So Nancy,
I hope so. Can
you
hear me, Hab?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Perfect.
It's good to have you back. So Nancy, what inspired you to pursue this PhD program, and why now?
Yeah, thank you, Hab, for the question. I'll tell you a little story. In fact, I was supposed to start a PhD 20 years ago, but for family reasons, I did not. And I was working with Dr. Robert on a project at AIPMO. And when he heard me talking about my dream 20 years ago, he just explained to me what the program is and why is it unique. And it took me some time first to evaluate my time commitment, my availability, and how much I can put into the project, into the program. But then I think what weighed towards my positive decision to pursue my PhD is a passion to learn new things. I think it was mentioned that we have to challenge our own understanding of things to keep growing. And that's one of the main things that I think pushed me to take that decision. And also the potential that comes with such program, potential of career growth, specializing in new areas, and supporting, I think, what we're doing in our professional sphere. And I think Fred, you mentioned this a lot, is the support network. I think I found at this stage that within the university, the faculty, the students, and the availability of the network, being part of AIPMO, being part also for other associations, there's a network that could support me in learning new things, asking questions, getting to know the things that I don't know. And as we grow in our careers, we know that we know a lot of things, but there's a lot we don't know yet. And that's what I think one of the things that pushed me to pursue the PhD. But also for me specifically is I hear a lot about the challenges that we're facing. And I think Dr. Mladen mentioned a little bit the complexity, the speed we're in. And I see more disalignment than alignment in what we're doing. And I think the research is one of the key areas where we can think about aligning disciplines. And the research which really couples or work or is based on 2 or 3 different disciplines will help us have that alignment, finding the new knowledge that we need to bring, I think, the disciplines together and make sure we provide better insights for businesses and for the society to be able to do things differently as we move forward. So I think this is what I think pursued me at this stage to pursue my PhD, though I know it's always challenging to find the time, and time management is important, but I think there's a lot of good things that we can learn and we can do that compensate a little bit on that challenge of spending time reading and doing some work for the PhD.
Amazing.
Thanks,
very,
Ihab.
very inspiring, Nancy. Thank you so much. I'm being cautious of the time, so I have to conclude panel 2 here, that segment number 2 now. So I would like to thank all our 4 remarkable students or PhD candidates for sharing such thoughtful reflections. I think their stories reflect the real impact of the program, highlighting its balance between the academic rigor and the practical relevance, and how it's shaping both the personal growth and professional advancement. I think now we can give time to the Q&As coming from our live audience, and I'll start reading. I don't think they're coming on the chat here, so they're being texted to me. Okay, so I think we can. So one question is coming that has just come now is, thank you everyone for this session. Do prospective students need to have a topic area defined before starting the application? So to our esteemed professors, Dr. Robert, would you like to take this one?
Ideally, yes. I think when you apply, you should have your topic of research that you would like to choose. But my suggestion would be is that you invariably choose something you know. And what I've seen when I did my PhD, I just took something at work and thought that's researchable. And I remember that when I presented it to Professor Rolf Muller at the university I was at, I had like 12 or 15 lines, and every line is a PhD. So he said, okay, it's going to take 48 years to finish your PhD. So my suggestion would be is that you actually reach out to myself or Laden or Reinhard, or in fact one of the students here, and just have a discussion informally with them as to what topics, and is this a good topic. We have, if you want to look at the topics for PMO management, we have about 100, as I mentioned before, and then we can actually help you select something, discuss it, and make sure that you're really interested in that topic, and then apply for it. So it's going to be researchable. You need to be passionate, etc. So yes, you do need it, and just make sure that you do some checks before you actually apply. So that's my advice.
Good, thanks so much.
Maybe to supplement. Yeah, I would say that it's good to have area, not topic itself, because topic is something very, very focused and narrow. So it's good to come. It's not compulsory, because within the first year program we can help anybody to support to find it. But it's very good to come at least with some idea about the area. That's let's say the first step of narrowing the process, and then we continue with a couple of other steps coming, because research is something very, very narrow, very focused.
Actually, that's interesting, because that's different to the one I was at, where you actually had to come with the topic in mind. And as I mentioned, I think this is a better way of doing it, because I think more than 60% of people change the topics from what they'd learned in the first year. So you're accepting that the people that are the candidates that are applying are not experts in research, but after the first year, they're going to have a better understanding of all the research gaps and what constitutes a good research topic. So I think that's a very good point for Alma Mater.
Great. Thank you so much for answering this question. I think this one is for Dr. Reinhard. It's a long one, so just give me a few seconds to read it. Lately, I've been reflecting on whether we are entering a new chapter, not of deeper globalization, but perhaps of selective retreat. With the tightening of import policies initiated by leaders like Trump, are we now witnessing a shift away from global integration toward greater economic self-reliance? It seems we may be entering a phase where countries are encouraged to strengthen domestic capabilities and societies become more proud and protective of local products and industries. Could this mark a turning point where, from the nation for the nation emerges as the new global narrative?
I think that's a great question for Reinhard.
Yeah.
Yes, and I see also it's from Rahayu, and greetings Rahayu to Indonesia. And let me tell you that research and science is an exception. There may be, let's say, differentiation or competition from a political or a business perspective. But I remember academic staff from your country, Indonesia, to attend our research conference last year in the US, and we have a lot of exchange and research programs like the European Union, Erasmus, etc. They support this global or international exchange because we all need to learn and improve and cope with the global challenges like environmental issues and poverty and you name it. And research is the answer to those global challenges. And that's not an answer from a country or one president who knows everything. It's the crowd. And so I think it's even more important during the Trump period to collaborate on the international basis. And our PhD program is set up as a very international and very cooperative program. As you may know, I'm in South Africa and we are cooperating. I'm in Central Asia, just returned from Georgia and Kazakhstan and so on. So we are cooperating, and with AIPMO in the Middle East, I think that's also a nice collaboration. So we don't let someone like Trump stop us in collaborating and learning.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dr. Reinhardt. This is, I think, a quick question. It's basically, do you accept international PhD students for short-term exchanges, such as attending seminars or workshops? Is this a model you operate with?
Well, there is such possibility. There is such possibility, like it was previously explained. We are cooperating also at university levels. So, for example, when we have a PhD workshop, it's not just our students. PhD students from our universities are coming, and they are exchanging because, like Reinhard said, we strongly believe that in the international environment we can do more. We are actually very keen to combine something like it is diversity, but also respect, but also freedom, but also challenging. In one word, I would say when you are going for research, finally one is free, because during your education from primary school, child is with very, very free mindset and so can imagine. And then during the different steps of your education, they are putting you in the box. And then learning more facts. And we are thinking that actually creative thinking is that. And that kind of freedom is important. So in one way, also you may be surprised, professionals which fantastic career could be find himself or herself sometimes after many years like in the box. That was my case. And in my career, when I came to research and I did it, I felt a kind of freedom I got. It was, for me, I said, okay, now I'm finally free. So I would say something like that if that helps, like answer to that question.
Yes, it does. I think Dr. Reinhardt, you wanted to add something
I
to that.
just want to add, if there's a specific interest of an individual, just get in touch and we will see what are the opportunities. Right now, we prefer to have an institutional exchange between one university and their students and ours, but we can also expand that. I saw that from the Baltics. So we can add a cooperation with the Baltics University, but we need to know about it. So just get in touch with Dr. Mladen or myself.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. I think we might take one or two questions max before we wrap up. So just this one is coming. So any suggestions for PhD in topics like technology policy and management embedded with project management, so that in order to take consulting journey to the next level, and then being more specific in research-based topics like green skills and entrepreneurship, and then there's a list of other topics. I think for this one, maybe this very specific question can be addressed during the application process, or maybe if someone
I can answer to Bipin. Greetings to Nepal. That's very broad. Your question is very broad, and everything that addresses the project sphere or the project world can be a topic in our PhD program. And you mentioned AI, and I'm personally very much in the combination of AI topics and project management. And you have AI, maybe governance and policies around it, and that can be combined very easily. The rest of your points here needs to be checked whether they are close enough to the project domain or not. But if you have specific questions, just address it to me and I can answer that.
Great, thank you so much. So one last question, and then we're going to wrap up. So does the panel have any suggestions for key readings that would be useful before undertaking the PhD program?
Perhaps ask the students as they which ones are the most relevant that they've read or recommend.
If I may take this, before deciding whether to pursue, I would suggest maybe to read some articles around how to do the research, how to design research, and see if you have a passion for the details that comes with it. Qualitative method, quantitative method. There's a lot of details. You need to have a certain understanding of that to see whether you can really take that journey. So I think there's some articles we can share with you. I see Maggie, I think, sent this question, so we can share those articles with you, Maggie, at this stage.
Great. Thanks, Nancy.
I would actually add, look at the PhD forum that we run. There's 5,000 people that are members. A lot are actually offering other services, but link into that community and ask. There's books, there's publishers, there's the journals in there. There's one that we often discuss is about scientific revolutions from Thomas Kuhn, where if you want to achieve a paradigm shift, and he goes back 400 years, it's not from people within the industry, it's from people from outside the industry. So Elon Musk is a good example of that. And the reason I raised that point is that when you want to spend 3 years doing research, you have your own motivations. If you want to be remembered, don't state the obvious, state the counterintuitive. And actually, there's a very good paper from Davis, 1971, called That's Interesting. And the reason I know about it is because I wanted to publish a paper. It was in one of the project management journals, and the editor said, why should I publish yours? What's interesting about what you're doing? And so it really made a big impression on me and made me think about, okay, let's research into something that's challenging, counterintuitive, because then not only will it be publishable, but you'll be remembered for what you're actually publishing. So think about that, and I think it's actually from Maggie. So hello, Maggie there. Do consider about the topic and the impact it actually has in the community that you work in, ideally a big impact.
Thanks, Dr. Robert. I think it's time now to wrap up. And with that, let me extend my warmest thanks to our professors and the amazing PhD candidates for all the insights and the powerful feedback and insights that they shared with us today. I think today we explored why now is the time for experienced professionals to pursue a research-driven path in project leadership. And if anyone is interested in learning more about this PhD program, please feel free to check the Alma Mater Europaea University website. Just simply search for Alma Mater Europaea University to know more details about the program structure, the deadlines, the application process, and so on and so forth. And finally, on behalf of AIPMO and Alma Mater Europaea, thank you everyone for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in future sessions, and perhaps even in the next PhD cohort.
And you're going to do the same as well, Ihab, as well. And thank you also for moderating this. Much appreciated from us.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for
Have a
listening.
great
Thank
day.
you. Great seeing you all. Bye. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Cheers.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.